This is Tom Norton. I'm mayor of the city of Greeley, and the program is Issue Talk with the mayor of Greeley. And today I have with me Andy McRoberts, the Cultural Parks Recreation Department Director, and Ed Rogers, the chairman of our Arts Commission. Today we want to talk a little bit about Greeley's art program. It's expanded considerably through the last few years, fortunately, because we've had a lot of capital construction and those kinds of things, but also enhanced a lot by the downtown district and their desire to do things, enhanced by the cultural district and some of the things going on at the university. So there's a lot of talk about what do we do with art, what is public art, how do we make that program work. So I thought maybe background a little bit, Andy.
Sure.
Where are we with the program? How's it kind of growing up recently or over the past?
Sure. First of all, it's a pleasure to be with you today. This is a great topic and one of my passions that I'm growing fondly of within the community. As you know, we have a department that oversees a lot of different areas from culture, which includes our public art program, as well as our museum system and the operation of the UCCC. We also have our parks division, which includes 40 different locations. Some of them have public art in them that we'll talk about, forestry and cemetery. We also have Island Grove, another location that has public art. Our golf division, which we now have public art located at. Our recreation facilities and recreation programs, youth enrichment at Rodarte, and an administration area. Within that, the culture division includes our public art program, and that's something that we're very proud of, very fond of within the community. And it keeps expanding, keeps growing with the growth of the community. We're finding more and more places to put public art pieces out in the community, as well as an indoor collection. So that's a little bit of a background just on what we have, but we've got numerous art pieces throughout the community, particularly, as you mentioned, in the downtown area and the creative district. And that's a good partnership we have with the Downtown Development Authority that provides pedestals, and we put art on that on a sculpture on loan program. So that's one of the aspects as well.
Well, it's certainly being able to get the downtown district and get those pedestals and kind of get a feel for that. The Art on Loan program is, do we have a number of artists that apply for that, or how do we get those?
Sure, and I can let Ed speak to that a little bit more, but we have an ongoing rotating sculpture on loan display that we do every year. We get new art on display at different locations, and I believe we have, 12 locations, Ed?
12 right now.
And those are picked every winter, put in by the springtime, and so the public can enjoy those and see different pieces of art throughout the community each year. And then we usually buy one of those pieces each year that we keep in a permanent part of our collection.
Ed, how do we make the decisions? We pay these various artists a little something to get them started, or?
Well, typically we will give them a stipend of about $750 to place a piece each year, which is really fortunate for us because it does allow the artist to make something out of it and have a piece exposed to the public, hopefully for them to be allowed to have something purchased in the future. So we, as Andy said, we place 12 and we try to get those around the community in various neighborhoods so that the public gets an opportunity to see exposure to a variety of art. We don't just necessarily go with representational art. We stay with some abstraction, non-objective, and sometimes it creates some interesting discussion, but that's what we're looking forward to each time. We also, as Andy mentioned, we purchase a piece, but we also allow the community to vote on a piece at the Arts Picnic show each year as a People's Choice Award. And so that's always gives some input by the community into what they can see as being something they enjoy, and it's a great turnout each year for that.
Well, that sparks my interest a little bit. What would I tell people if they say, what exactly is public art?
Well,
how would you, I'll let you both define it, maybe differently.
Ed as an actual artist and teacher probably has a better definition than I, but in our master plan it's defined really as any art or design that has been created specifically to put in public. So it leaves a wide parameter of what could be constituted as art, and obviously in a public place.
and it does attract attention. You know, it heightens the interest of the community, and it encourages interaction from our public.
That you know, the public then, when they in the community, how do you get them to participate? You said the arts picnic is one place where you do that, but how else do you go out and reach out to the community about what they think public art ought to be?
Well, fortunately, you know, we have a commission that's representative of the community, and it's a volunteer commission that it really takes into account what our community views in terms of what public art should look like. We're trying to create our own identity, and so we do receive information from the public in regards to, you know, public art in general. We have a staff person, Kim Snyder, who does an excellent job going out to the community, various groups, and talking to groups. We have individuals on our commission who are on other boards in the community who also have the opportunity to present some of the information that's going on within our public art program. Residents, again, can be part of our commission, and we feel like we have a good cross-section of our community with that.
And I'd add that we have partnerships in the community that we certainly work with and try to identify how we can best display our public art out in the community. We're looking to work more and more with UNC and between the creative district that goes down to the University District and the university itself, trying to look at the 8th Avenue corridor that we can place some public art to bring people and connect between the university and downtown. We actually have a piece of art that was donated last year that we're going to be placing out at the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners campus out in West Greeley. We look at locations and private public partnerships and anything we can in terms of trying to get art out there.
Well, that's good. What you started to talk about the National Board of Chiropractic. What other locations around the community? How does somebody find out? I mean, if there's
It's a great question. One of the things that we do have is the public can certainly access the city's website, and under the Things to Do tab, there is a public art, and if you click on the public art component within that tab, we've got a plethora of information in there. There are photos of a lot of the different pieces that we have on display, both indoor and outdoor. There is a map that shows all the locations throughout the community that we have art displayed. There's information about the Toynton Gallery that we have over at the UCCC and Recreation Center. That's a wonderful gallery that we change out exhibits and showcase an artist, local or in Colorado, that we bring in. And that rotates throughout the year, so we can have a different display for indoor art as well.
Well, I know whenever Kay and I go to a function at the UCCC, we always have to stop by the Toynton Gallery and see what's the new display that we've missed or haven't had time to go down and see. So we always have to go a little bit early and check out what's there, which I think is pretty good. You know, the location of that and being able to go in there and look at that helps quite a little bit.
Sure. I'd also like to mention too that we have a great partnership with School District 6, and one of the things that we're working on in trying to achieve community excellence and working with our youth is this fall we'll actually have a juried show where we'll be issuing out some scholarships to youth in terms of actually producing some art that we'll put on display in honor of the 25th anniversary of the UCCC. And being able to work with the youth and have them compete in an actual juried art show.
Well, that'll be interesting. I've seen a lot of the art that the students do. They display at School District 6 Administration Building. They usually have one or two of those a year where they bring all the kids in. It's kind of it's not juried, I don't think, other than if you want to call the teachers trying to pick the best ones out of the classes and those kinds of things.
Parents are the best jurists in that case.
Yes, that's probably true. Parents, I don't know, they might be a little critical though, It's, but what's the future look like? How are we funded? How are we gonna, what's happening in terms of what we want to do in the future and the master plan?
Yeah, I'd like to have Ed talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Well, as far as our master plan is concerned, we're very fortunate to have a guide that helps structure what we need to do in terms of maintaining a collection for our community. We established our master plan in 2009, and so we've been into it for a few years. And during that time, we've just seen some tremendous growth within that plan. And what's wonderful is we have a system in place that allows us to proceed through different channels all the way to getting the approval by the City Council. So we really appreciate the way this process works. But as far as our master plan, we are revisiting that right now in terms of what we see as future growth for our program. And not only just in terms of projects, but it's just an overall vision for the community to see what in fact we need to do to help in terms of funding. And our goal for funding in the future is to really look into partnerships and private donations and so forth to help us with the direction of our program. And I think as we progress, we're going to be able to see our community grow in terms of a place where it's a destination for visitors to come and see some of the wonderful art, for travelers, for conferences and so forth. We hope it helps our economic base in many ways. We know that our realtors really enjoy seeing the public art in specific neighborhoods as they bring in new people to the community. So we feel it's a very positive impact in terms of what we're doing within our plan. And specifically, we would like to see more in terms of entryway projects within coming into Greeley and seeing what exactly people are interested in terms of as they visit our community.
So how do we fund some of these? What's the underlying funding mechanisms for the general program?
As you know, we've got a 1% for public art program in place, and basically all of the capital projects that we do in the city for new construction, not necessarily refurbishment or repair, but new construction, 1% of those projects that are over $50,000, 1% goes into the public art fund, which then funds a lot of the acquisition and artwork that we do throughout the community. That has been a good funding source for the city and will continue to be in the future. A lot of that comes, as you know, from the water and sewer projects that we have throughout the community. But we also have stormwater projects that are new, and those bring in 1% out of their full budget. But we also have...
We did a police station.
I was going to say...
started, I think there's a couple of things out there.
We've got the police station, so any new buildings, when the police station was built, there's public art in the police station in the lobby itself. At the Funplex, we've got the luminaires that are outside that was funded through the construction of that facility. So when new buildings are built, that certainly becomes a part of it as well.
Well, speaking of the water, I've noticed that we've got a few facilities around because this multi-million-dollar water project of water rights and construction of a new pipeline and some of those things. Being an engineer, I get excited about that side of it. But I also get excited, you've done some that are very related to water. The W.D. Farr statue is one that I think would tell it. What else around the community is there, and what are we planning for future projects relative to that?
You mentioned the W.D. Farr sculpture out at Farr Library, which is a wonderful homage to W.D. We also have the original members, or some of the members of the water board way back in the 18-something or others that are depicted in a silhouette on Reservoir Road over by the reservoir there by Centennial Park. That's a really nice art piece that's been there for a while. We've got a new one coming in that we're going to be doing that celebrates water and sculpture as well as the art. It's a really beautiful combination over at the UCCC when we celebrate the 25th anniversary. We'll be having a wonderful sculpture out front that we're planning on installing and having dedicated this fall.
That's exciting to hear that. I think one of them that was interesting to me is at the village down at Island Grove. We've got some depiction of some fence there that depicts the history of of water, so we kind of combine the history and the art program.
That's a wonderful project where it's a multi-phase project. Last year in 2012, we installed phase 1, which is around the main entrance to Centennial Village. And the concept is a new fence. It got rid of an old chain link fence area, beautified it with wrought iron, and then artistic painted panels that depict history of the water in Greeley. So the artist actually has photographs displayed next to the painting so you can see where the origination came from. We're actually planning on phase 2 being installed and dedicated this summer, and people can go out and enjoy that. That is another great partnership that we have with the community. You talk about funding. The Montfort Foundation actually donated $50,000 towards phase 2, and that will help depict also the cattle industry and the beef industry in Greeley, as well as the water history.
Well, that's appropriate since the Warren Montford home has
That's right.
been moved down to that area, so it brings into a little the later kind of history, at least the part of the history that I can remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it's interesting. If you look at Island Grove Park, the Stampede has done their share with their art in that. So you try to tie all these things together so there's something in a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm. And we do have another current one that will be dedicated this summer at Homestead Park, which is the new natural habitat park just west or southwest of 34. And so we have a depiction of a 100-foot by a 16-foot sculpture there that is going to be just fascinating, sitting within the trees, depicting what we call the Rain Symphony. And so that'll kind of attract to the natural habitat right there at that park. So we're looking forward to that dedication this summer as well.
Very good. What about, is there anything, Andy, with the Pooter Trail or any of those kinds of things that?
Well, there is a public art component along the Pooter Trail currently. We've got trail markers. If people are walking or riding on the trail itself, if they look at the different quarter-mile sections, each one of those is distinctly different and unique, and they're sculpted pieces of granite, so that is part of the public art program. So even in unexpected places, you can find artwork.
Well, that's certainly true. I'm thinking back about coordinating a little bit the art with the schools. Does the Art Commission and the artists in town, do they participate in the school programs and work with the kids and try and help them out, Ed?
Well, we have, through several different programs, we have started to work with the school district a little bit stronger. And as Andy mentioned, with the initiation of this art show that will be in conjunction with the 25th anniversary and our sculpture at the UCCC, students of School District 6 will be participating. And what's been interesting about that is we brought the artist into the school a couple months ago that allowed him to interact with the students and explain his process in developing the sculpture and just the professional process and nature of what a professional has to do to place art. And so the students will be following the same professional prospectus that the artist is doing in presenting their work. So it's not just your typical little student art show, it's a very educational show for the students. And with that, we also are working with teachers directly in conjunction with overlapping into other aspects of the art community. So the Art Commission facilitates that a little bit. We work a little bit with the National Greeley Art Exhibition, which allows us to at least be part of that and help with students becoming, being participants of that particular show. The Art Commission's working with the Creative District and also just, again, allowing student representation within that. So we're trying to bring it all together in a very strong format in Greeley.
I'd add to that involving students. I mean, there's different ways that we do that all the time. We have a very unique project right now, which is a mobile piece of art through our Youth Enrichment division over at the Rodarte Community Center. We had kids get involved in what their depiction of water life and what happens within water. Yes, and so the kids created drawings of different kinds of fish, And our local artist actually took those renditions from the kids and transplanted it onto one of our school buses. So if you happen to see our magic bus traveling around town,
A yellow bus with fish on it?
that's exactly right. Very colorful, very appropriate for the kids, and it's a great way to celebrate
And
our
that's
kids.
the bus that's used at Rodarte for to get them around to various programs.
Correct.
Or
Exactly.
whatever.
Yep.
Well, that's great, getting that community involvement. How else? What other community involvement should we have in this program? What can we do to?
We're always looking for ideas from the general public and from our residents that if they have a location they have in mind. That's one of the things that Ed was talking about with the updated master plan. We're trying to create a matrix, if you will, a list of all possible locations of where we can place public art. So we're always looking for input. We're always looking for new commissioners to come in and apply for the Arts Commission as well.
And one thing I'd like to add to that is when we do go out and look at art and select art, we look for local artists. That's always our priority initially, is to find local artists within our community, within a regional aspect to our community, to participate in our programming. You know, sometimes it's difficult to find that as such in certain specifics, but we are very fortunate to have a very talented group of artists within our community. As a matter of fact, we will be placing these what we call urban trees down 8th Avenue, and there will be fabricated trees by local artists.
What do you mean by fabricated tree?
Well,
I mean, how are you going to keep it alive?
No watering required.
No water,
required.
no lighting.
A little water
Yeah,
conservation program.
It'll
Okay.
be fascinating. The downtown development will be presenting us with each artist with a planter, and then we will put a pole, a 12-foot pole, within this planter, and then the artists will be allowed to go in and fabricate that in any fashion they see within their creative energy. And so we should have a great variety of artistic expression within this theme of trees.
And where are these planters or art trees going to be?
It'll be along 8th
8th
Avenue, and so between the downtown area.
Middle side.
They'll be on the sides of the street along the sidewalks, and that's also a multi-phased year project. So this year we're planning on putting in about 7 or 8 different urban trees, if you will, and then we'll add to that each year and add new artists and new trees to our urban landscape.
Well,
you know, the other
should be
part that
fascinating.
Ed mentioned this earlier, but to get the public out at the arts picnic, we would love to see people out there and vote on their favorite sculpture in the Sculpture on Loan program and visit the booth where the arts commissioners are there and they can talk about art.
Well, that's a good place to kind of slow down and close up this program. There's a lot to talk about, and the Arts Picnic is one of the things that we do here in Greeley that is very well attended, has grown tremendously over the years, and obviously an opportunity for participation of the whole community in terms of arts and crafts and those things. And so I want to thank both of you. Ed, I appreciate all the time you spent in the Art Commission, and express my appreciation to the Commission for their efforts. And
Thank you, Mayor.
And Andy, appreciate what you do. Keep that Art Commission moving and on the straight and narrow.
They keep me moving, but
Okay. Well,
it's my
that's
pleasure.
That's probably more like it. But thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it very much.